Well, good afternoon and welcome inside the Edward T. Berry Rink, home of the UMass Boston Beacons for today's Little East Conference women's hockey matchup between the Beacons and the Owls of Keene State. I'm Mike Kuzingera alongside Matt Meisenbacher. And Meisey, this is a big one for the Beacons, coming off one of their most complete performances of the year, a 4-0 win last night over this same Owls team and trying to finish out the weekend.
Really impressive performance. It started in the first period and came out flying. The first few shifts really were taking it to the Owls and carried out throughout that period. Second period, more of the same. There was a point in the game where the Owls seemed to have a little bit of momentum themselves. And don't forget, Coach Lund took that timeout, which may have surprised some folks, but really kind of steadied the team a little bit. And some big saves from Hadamovsky. They were able to find a 2-0 lead, and then in the third period kind of walked away with it, ended up finalizing a 4-0 victory. But again, really complete game across the board. Looking to carry that momentum over into today, try to walk out of here with a sweep.
Veronica Hadamovsky made 18 saves last night for her first collegiate shutout, and she'll get the net once again today for the Beacons as we're underway. UMass in the home white uniforms and the Owls in their road black and red jerseys once again. Thanks so much for joining us here on Flow College. Beacons with the win last night up to 4th place in the LEC. Trying to continue building on that ahead of a series next weekend with 3rd place Castleton. This is Grace Lynch for UMass, swings one in front, and it's an early first save for Ai Chung. Starting once again for the Owls after she played last night and frankly was excellent, but couldn't do much against the fantastic 4 of Beacon's goals. A goal shorthanded, even strength on the power play and into the empty net.
Really the only reason the Owls stood a chance for a pretty good period of time. It's not like, even though the Beacons dominated, they were scoring a ton of goals. And Chung made a lot of good key saves and kept it close for a while. Owls just weren't able to ever score, and hard to win a hockey game when you can't score.
Taking it up ice for Keene. This is Lorelei Norman into the corner, and she'll ring it back around. Shot from Emma Wiseman sails over. It's a Keene team that had opportunities yesterday. They just didn't take advantage of them.
Which is why I'm curious their start. There's got to be a little bit of anger, animosity towards the way they played yesterday.
Dumped in, the Beacons will chase. Comes all the way back down the other end. Gabriella Woods back in the lineup for the Beacons today. Gets there ahead of Ava Iantasco, one of the co-leading scorers of this Keene State team. Brianna Skrelly forces the turnover and will poke it back down ice. Into the corner, and the Owls dig it out. Breakouts yesterday were an area they weren't at their best, Keene State. First less than 3 minutes today, much improved in that regard. Up to the point, shot blocked by the stick of Boyd. Near side, Alexander tips it forward. Beacons will go for the change, but it is icing. She didn't have the line.
Even so far, only 3 minutes in here, but again, for me, focus on Keene State. They're the ones that really have something to prove. I think more so internally. The score is one thing, but as a team, just want to prove you're not that far behind this Beacons club. In the standings, these teams are right neck and neck with each other, and Keene State still a relatively new program, but more competitive, I think, than what we saw last night. Looking to prove that here today.
We got to talk about it a bit last night, but this is Keene State's just 2nd year as a varsity program. And the fact that they are contending to finish in the top half of the conference, right now in 5th, just behind the Beacons in 4th, is pretty impressive. Shot from the point, that caught the blocker of Hadamovsky. And it is her first save of the early going. Briggs can't clear. Held in by Bazin. Hadamovsky sticks up into the netting.
Already a better start for Keene State. You know, last night at this time they were already defending for minutes at a time, and so far, again, still very early, but good amount of time in the offensive zone. Chance for an offensive draw here.
Top lines for both teams hit the ice, and it's Shane Nolan who wins the draw for the Beacons. Poked out to neutral ice. Lynch was a bit behind it. Batted down by Ian Tosca and right back in. Keene building some early pressure. Brianna Finke in the corner, loses out on the battle. Nice breakout pass from Nolan to find Grace Lynch. Looking below the net, Nolan will swing it right along the wall. Back to the stick of Lynch, who digs it out from between the legs of an Owls defender. Nolan looking for McFadden, fresh off the bench in the high slot. Couldn't bring it under control. Lynch up top, Ondrick, space for her. She'll slap one, and it's deflected in front by McFadden, but it took it off target. Comes back to Crepaldi, who keeps the zone but loses possession. Ellie Patrick, the Northern Irish center for this Owls club. Had that net drive there, couldn't generate a shot, and poked out of the zone by Jenna Fitzsimons for the Beacons. Picked up by McNeil, who will swing it in. McFadden runs into some trouble, but had Ondrick there, and it's a perfect bank out to Fitzsimons. Beacons have an opportunity, pass across, slid under the stick of Kelsch. Didn't have it glued to the ice.
It's a tough pass. It looked like it was going to connect, and then all of a sudden just under the, I don't know if it was under the blade or just slightly off, but yeah, it's a tough pass when you're relatively stationary. You got another player moving at full speed. You know, that window's moving. Fitzsimons just maybe a little bit off on her connection with Kelsch.
Emily Hansen leans in for the faceoff. She scored the Beacons' first goal in the eventual game winner last night with a shorthanded tally. Ray Alexander gets pinned up into the boards. Comes out to neutral ice, collected by Boyd. Into the zone come the Owls, and Hadamovsky gloves from Pomajba.
Yeah, you can see the adjustments from Keene State. Just more aggressive in general. Trying to take it to the Beacons a little bit here, not sitting back. We saw a lot of that last night. Going to get denied on this late change here. Referee had his hand up, linesman. Same spot.
Norman wins it clean back up top, blocked. Briggs got in the way. That time the block comes from Case. And all the way back out to the Owls' own zone. And it turned over below the net. Hayes pressuring, but had her stick lifted before she could pass. Now Case has it for the Beacons. Fourth line doing some work. Past the slot, but no one home. Jones gets by one defender. Jones driving, and Hadamovsky a big stop. Shot from the point, well wide.
Scully caught out of position there, just getting too close to the wall. And that's where one move can get you beat. It's really hard to recover from there. Normal rule of thumb is trying to stay around that dot. Good stop.
Another big one from Hadamovsky. That was on Ian Tosca.
That's a good save right there. Hadamowski moving laterally.
Beacons under a lot of pressure early. They'll ease it from the red line with Skrelly throwing one through. Turned over. Nolan finds Grace Lynch looking back. Top line on the ice for the Beacons, and they'll hold the zone. Nolan, great work to get it to Lynch. Maggie Lynch had her pass blocked. There's a puck on edge, and she couldn't get it back to her two-time college teammate, Grace Lynch.
Yeah, good read by DeMeo as well. Recognizing where her assignment was in the slot, getting a stick in the lane. Looking like it's going to be a far more competitive game here between these two clubs. Yesterday was as well, but a little bit closer, maybe just in terms of offensive possession time.
Face-off win from the Owls. They'll dump and change after the icing. Beacons want to go quickly here. This is Cadence Kelly, who scored her first career goal on the empty net last night from all the way at her own goal line.
Went for it twice. She was not going to be denied.
We had some fun with that last night. She wanted that goal.
I appreciated it. I like that. She's confident that she could get it done, especially having, just gone for it before hitting the red. You get another chance in your own zone, which is far harder. Still went for it and was able to hit it, so kudos to her. Her first, and you mentioned Hadamowski's first shutout, so a couple game pucks being dished out, I would assume.
Likely a lot of plaudits to go around. A great performance from the Beacons last night. Cassidy Morrison, Beacons' leading scorer this year, digs it out but can't get it cleanly in the zone, and it comes back out to Alexander. Sticking right on the blue line, Finke eventually takes control. Beacons can break out, and they do so perfectly. Alexander on the rush, Hansen up with her. It's on the stick of Emily Hansen, had it poked free. Chung had to time that poke check right and took it away from the backhand of Hansen.
Pretty good rush from the Beacons with a lot of Owl pressure. We're still able to generate a scoring opportunity. You mentioned Chung was able to deflect it before much of a shot was taken, but good effort by the Beacons just to get the opportunity.
Up top for Cripaldi, one-timer, and Chung makes the glove save. She was so good last night, and really the reason that game stayed close most of the way through was because Chung kept coming up with big stops.
Most definitely, and the goals that were scored were not of the clean variety. In front, rebounds. I would expect more of that here today. This is the type of goaltender that's going to be hard to beat on the initial. Now, Hansen was able to do it on the first one. Putting that shot, if you weren't with us, she was able to put one right over the shoulder under the bar. Excellent shot placement. That's about it. You can do that, you might beat her, but this goaltender, you got to get in front, take away her eyes, and any rebounds have to be sent back home.
She made 37 saves yesterday. 17 of them came in the first period. And the Beacons were knocking on the door for a while, thought there was no one home, and eventually Hansen broke through shorthanded. Final minutes of that one. Chung sticks that away from her crease with Maggie Lynch crashing through. Shots even at 4 apiece, just over midway through this first period. Nolan digs it out, comes to Lynch, batted down, and the Beacons can't pot it home on the rebound. Lynch just avoided playing it with a high stick, let it drop down to her, and it was sitting right there in front for Nolan, who couldn't convert. Swung back through. Lynch was looking for the tip, couldn't find it.
Beacons are in the midst of a half change here. If they can complete this line, they're going to have a release here. Looks like the Owls are going to be able to break out, but they were on the midst of being able to finish a change while still in the offensive zone. Hard to do. You really give yourself an advantage when you can pull it off. Needed one more body, one more possession.
Bank down to Cripaldi. Into a battle, it's taken away. Chance in front on the backhand, but Ian Tosca whiffed. Finke digs it free. Pass is intercepted by Kelsch. And poked away from her. She was trying to go 1-on-2, and I believe that was DeMeo on the far side, was having none of it. Up ice to Morrison. Ondrick battling, able to keep the zone for the Beacons. Taken away, Alexander looking for Hansen, couldn't connect. Morrison keeps the zone. Shot from the blue line blocked, and no one able to get to the rebound. Morrison tips it through. Big rush here from Kensley Good. And all the way through all three zones, but couldn't find an angle to come up off the wall.
Yeah, that's a little too passive for UMass. You know, I understand defending, and eventually you got a little bit of resistance. You know, just retreat into your own zone like that, I think you're giving away too much.
.640 to play. Up top for Skrelly. Holding, swings in front. Chung had to be good. Rebound there, and she covers.
That puck was bouncing once again. Chung really good on her reads, moves well in the net. Couple good shifts there from UMass. Important offensive draw. 6:31 left in the first period. Shots on goal 5-4 in favor of the Beacons.
Top lines on the ice. Nolan wins the face-off. Loose in front. Nolan a shot. Big save by Chung. Up top, Skrelly. Maggie Lynch below the net. Has to circle back. Went by Nolan and right to Grace Lynch. Pass in front, split the two Beacons that were there. Dug free, the Owls take control. Finke too strong on the breakout pass. This will be icing.
Yeah, top line picking up where they left off yesterday. Anytime they were in the offensive zone, just consistently dominating possession. Really, for me, it was the board battles. Anytime it was a 50-50 puck, it seemed like they came away with it. Yeah, they led the way. Important follow-up shift here from the second line. Fitzsimons on the face-off.
That Owls top line looked quite tired after that icing call. They'll try and get this one clear as soon as they can. Fitzsimons takes it away. Centering pass was stolen, and Finke able to get most of her team off for the change, and now she'll go as well. McFadden leaves for Fitzsimons, had her pocket picked. Right back to McFadden, who will backhand in. Kelsch pressuring, comes out to Hansen. Backhand up to the netting.
Yeah, definitely more solid effort from Keene State yesterday. Just didn't see this type of team. I could attribute that maybe to just the travel. You're coming off the bus on a cold day, hard to start fast. Beacons didn't have that issue. Here today, a much better start. And it's led to a much more competitive hockey game.
Morrison leaves it for Kelly, shot into a body. Up top, Boyd holds the zone. Morrison takes it out. Collision there at the blue line, and McNeil a bit slow to get up. Beacons take it away below the net. Pass too strong for Boyd. She couldn't control. Beacons reload right back in. Owls in a change, but pass from Alexander behind Hansen. Hansen digs it free. Right back to Alexander, and Chung makes the save.
Tried to go short side high there. Pretty good shot attempt. Chung was able to get the glove up. Ray Alexander trying to score her own highlight type reel. We saw again yesterday, we mentioned Hansen's goal. Alexander trying to do the same, but puck will stay in zone. Tells me Chung got a piece of it. See the replay there.
Chung not the tallest goalie at 5'5", but that was a tight angle to shoot into. Alexander tried to pick her spot. One of the better looks for the Beacons here in this first period, now out shooting the Owls 7-4.
And spending a lot more time in the offensive zone. The first half of the period was really Keene State that was kind of dominating possession. Now Beacons taking a turn at it. See what the final 4 minutes bring.
DeMeo up from the blue line, tries to bank in front. Adamovsky active with the stick. Comes out to Case, and Beacons ship it clear, and they have to hurry with this change. Comes right back to Finke, couldn't drag through Cripaldi. And I think we're going to get matching penalties here.
Yeah, I want to see the call, because Cripaldi had the look of guilt. She kind of looked like, he got me. So she knows, but curious what the call on Keene State is. And they're both getting roughs.
Roughs for both.
Okay, they both took a shot. Didn't see the Keene State one, but referee was on top of it. We'll see if it's 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. 4-on-4 right now. Beacons 4 skaters on the ice.
So it will be 4-on-4.
Yeah.
And on the Owls side, it's 4-on-4, and their most dangerous skater, Brianna Finke, is the one in the box with the extra open ice that 4-on-4 provides.
So somebody had a power play there. I didn't see it. The puck wasn't really around them. But what that tells me is someone took the initial rough, referee called it, and then there was another shot which the referee also called. That's how you get to 4-on-4. That tells me there's a power play in there somewhere.
Kelly holds the zone for the Beacons. Minute and a half left of 4-on-4 hockey. 2 penalties for roughing, Adriana Cripaldi and Brianna Finke. Icing here against the Owls.
Lines are going to be a bit mixed here with 4-on-4. Someone's got to stay back.
This is 2/3 of the Beacons' second line. Jenna Fitzsimons and Aisling McFadden out on the ice, and Fitzsimons wins the faceoff back. McFadden digs it free. Up top, Skrelly had to hurry with the slap pass, and it comes out of the zone. Pass far side to Fitzsimons, who takes it in stride. Pass in front, it deflects around and nearly dropped in. Perfect setup on the back door, and McFadden couldn't tuck it home.
Yeah, she's on her backhand there, and that's one where instead of a lefty, if she's a righty, I think you've got a goal. But because she's got a catch and release on her backhand, very hard to do, especially on a one-timer, almost impossible, really. I think is why she just wasn't able to get it across the goal line. Came very close.
27 seconds left of 4-on-4. Stretch pass connects with Emily Hansen. Hansen on the break, can't tuck it home. Rebound there, Kelch puts it over. Good defending coming back. It was Grace Bazin who disrupted the play, and then Chung sticked it free.
Yeah, just got enough of Hansen to keep her from really getting all she wanted on that shot. Now, Kelch had a pretty good look as well. Wasn't able to convert. These Beacons are right around it.
4-on-4 hockey is done. We are back to 5-on-5 for the last minute 24 of the first period. Lynch. That's deflected. Grace Lynch is pressuring. And D'Souza just dug it free before Lynch could crash in. Loose along the wall, comes up to Ondrick. Swings it in front, save, rebound, another save by Chung.
She's good. Doesn't get much better than that.
Maggie Lynch denied twice in quick succession. Ondrick swings it, and it's blocked and cleared down. And this won't be icing. They'll say Ondrick had an opportunity to play it. Beacons reload. Lynch tips in. Fitzsimon's pressuring, and Chung has to cover.
Yeah, it's always tough as a goaltender. You give a little bit of a rebound and you see the wrong jersey in front of you. You got to react quick. And the hardest part there is load and get to the spot, right? Now, the skater's already going there. So you've got to do two things. They've really already done it. You got to play a quick catch-up to make that type of save. Chung was able to do it, get that pad on it with a sprawl. Really good stop.
Final 22 seconds here of the first period. It was even to start. The Beacons have controlled a lot of play since. McFadden dispossessed as she came into the zone. Comes out to neutral ice. Beacons might have one opportunity here. Couldn't get the friendly bounce off the back of the goal, and that will bring the first period to a close. Beacons have had looks, but much like last night, Chung coming up with some fantastic stops.
Yeah, much better start for Keene State there in that first period. And, Adamovsky had to come away with a few stops, only 5 shots on goal in that period, but had to come away with a few early. Had one that she had to make a pretty good stop laterally as well. Other than that, though, really, Beacons kind of took it away from Keene State the second half of that period, really spent a lot more time in the offensive zone. You saw them cycling the puck a lot more, possessing more, shots on goal currently going up all the way to 17. So ends up being a pretty heavy period for those Beacons in the last final, I'd say 10 minutes or so. So overall, even still 0-0, but advantage Beacons after one.
We'll step aside up here. Scoreless after 20 minutes. We'll have stats in the second period for you when we come back.